Hi, this is Attorney Samantha with another episode of Courtroom Confessions. So I had to dig back into the vaults for this. This is a case that I took very early on, and it was a divorce. There was one minor child, but it seemed to be fairly simple. Husband, who I represented, wanted the divorce. Wife was on the fence whether she wanted it or not. But at least here in Georgia, you're able to get a divorce if you meet all of the requirements, and the requirements aren't hard to meet. So it's almost guaranteed that you're going to be able to get this divorce. We get down to Cobb County to do our final divorce hearing. And essentially she showed up, I showed up, my client showed up, and I got my client on the stand to give the statutory requirements, which is basically you're married to this person. You were married on this date. This is the date you all got separated. There was a settlement agreement. So she did sign a settlement agreement. And so we were able to say, does this settlement agreement reflect your agreement? Yes. She pregnant? He's like, not that I know of. The judge is like, okay, you all meet the requirements. I'm going to grant the divorce. And then he looks to the wife and says, ma'am, do you have something to say? Huh. She had a lot to say. She stood up and told this entire courtroom. The courtroom was packed. She got up there and confessed her love for this man, how she deeply loved him. She was sorry for the things that had happened in the past, that she wanted to stay married to him. It was a bad mistake, and being married was the best option for their family. I'm sitting there, mouth dropped, and y'all should have seen the court staff. Their mouths were dropped too.
Miss Jackson.
You could have heard a pin drop in that courtroom because everybody was on the edge of their seat now because this boring case just got, excited. It's hard to not get the divorce when you meet all the requirements. So the judge essentially told her, I'm sorry, ma'am, there's nothing I can do. He met all the requirements for a divorce. And so I'm going to grant the divorce. And, she just kind of looked defeated. I told my client he can come down from the stand. I went and got the paperwork from the judge's clerk, and I walk out the courtroom. Interestingly enough, and my client comes with me. She comes as well. And we get into this elevator. This elevator had to be the size of a closet. So me, him, and her are in the elevator, and there's silence. So then she starts to talk, and she's like, and I'm not going to say his name, but she's like, ex-husband, I just want to talk. I want to talk to you. The door's open. First of all, he never looked at her. And I'm just sitting there looking at the ground because this is really awkward. He doesn't speak to her. The door's open, and he just walks away. And I get off the elevator. I just turned to her and I said, I'm sorry. And then I just walked to the clerk's office. I'm assuming they spoke again because I believe they had a child. I can't remember exactly. But that was probably the most awkward situation I've been in.